Really good opponent, well-coached team, good defense. It's always a hostile environment there to play, especially on Monday night. But we're going to be ready, so I'm excited for this game. Any questions?
Can you speak stories of Monday Night Football of you and your family watching them? Was it
Well, I got to stay up, and I just, sat there with my dad, and we watched it, and I just, Howard Cosell and was it Meredith, Andy Meredith, and who's the other one I forgot? But just the music. The music, man, just gets you going. It still gives me chills. But there's nothing better than it's the biggest stage in the world. And to go watch these players play, man, it's exciting.
You spent a full training camp going against your defense that's ultra physical, loves cover one, has a safety that can move all over the place and do all kinds of things. Like, how much did that experience of seeing that for 6 weeks, how much does that prepare you for this type of matchup?
Yeah, we'll be ready. I mean, it's not all man-to-man. They mix it up pretty well. I mean, they're a well-coached team. Coach Harbaugh does a great job. And, they know exactly what they're doing. It's not like the old Ravens as I know it, but they're just well-disciplined. You can see it. They're tough. They tackle. They do a good job. They create turnovers. They got some really good players. Hamilton's a really good player, and Smith in the middle. Those two guys are really good. So I like where we're at right now.
When the defense is strong like that, up the middle, through all three levels, what kind of strain does that put on an offense?
No strain. No, we got great players. I've said this before. They responded last week. Our guys, when it's time to make plays, they've made the plays. And I like the matchup. I think it's going to be a great game.
John, certainly when you guys were on the road at Green Bay, there were a lot of issues with communication along the new offensive line together for the first game. How do you guys make sure that doesn't kind of repeat itself in a loud, raucous environment like this will be?
Well, you practice in the noise. You make it hard. You make it loud. And I think that helps. The communication, we got to do it in practice so we feel good about it. And if there's anything that's a problem, we just take it out. But that's the main thing. We've been doing that. Yeah, that's what you have to do. And these guys, listen, they've been on the road. We've all been on the road. We're going to be smart in things that we do so we don't to have miscommunications. I think that's important.
When we talked about the bread and butter of the Lions offense and getting back to that, how big is the play action in that regard?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, whether you run it and sets up the play action or vice versa. Jared's one of the best at the play action to me, throwing the deep ball. And that's what we did, We ran plays that they know inside and out, no thinking involved, and then you saw what we did last week.
With Tesla, obviously still a young player, that's made the most of a couple opportunities that he's had. In doing so, John, do you feel comfortable now when you get that kind of one-on-one matchup with him, that 50-50 ball? Is he kind of gaining that confidence from you and Jared to maybe give him some opportunities in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have set that up last week if I didn't. But I like to see him use better technique on the release so I catch it and score, as opposed to do these one-hand catches. You can't live every day like that. So, but listen, he gets better every day. We give him a little bit more, and he does a great job with it.
The chemistry between St. Brown and Goff, is that something that you can even help with anymore? Or is it just like they are figuring it out on their own and just it's kind of all about them?
Well, I got to make sure I put them in the right spot, to have success. That's our job as coaches, to put these guys in the right position to have success. And, everything was just clicking last week.
Jared was talking about like the route though on the one comeback near the pylon right before half. Said that was just something that they've developed years over years. I mean, what kind of do you help that along at all?
We ran that play in training camp almost every day. So, and listen, you got to talk about it. It's who you're going against, that certain route. It's a way how they play it, how that corner's playing it. So,
John, you said you emphasized plays they kind of knew inside and out against Chicago. Was that an emphasis from week 1 to week 2?
Totally different defense. So, again, like I've said before, we're going to look at the defense, and this is what we're going to do. So that was a different defense compared to Green Bay. So we game plan specifically on who we're playing and what they do.
It was
Just how fun was last week for you, sitting up there, watching it, huge plays, explosive plays, you ran the football, you protected the quarterback, pretty much everything you chalk up that you want to do going in a game, you did. Just to see it like that, you've obviously known you have all the weapons, but to see it on the field, put 50 plus up, just how fun was last week?
Pretty fun. I mean, I watched the tape twice. I mean, it was impressive. Just all phases, man. The line coming off, the surge. You know, the guys running routes. Jared throwing the ball. I mean, he's been over 80% the last 2 weeks. You don't see that, you know. And, yeah, it was fun. But it's all about the players. It's not about me. It's just my job is to put them in the right position, man. And just everything was clicking.
Do you typically watch the tape twice, or how many times do you watch it?
I did. I watched it twice just because I was like, man, is this real? No, it was fun. It was fun watching these guys, and that's what I said. You know, all the goes that we said before the game that we wanted to do, it happen. And that's the cool thing.
Do you typically watch, do you normally watch the tape twice, or is that just last week enjoying what you guys put on film?
No, I don't watch it twice. I haven't been around that. I mean, it's been a while. I've been around some great offenses, you know, with Drew Brees and stuff, but I haven't seen that in a while, so it was cool.
I'm sure you admire Jared from afar, but having coached him now up close for a few months, what have you learned about him that maybe you didn't know from a distance?
Well, he's very smart. And, you know, I talked to you guys about RCE, and that's what we've done. That happens every day, every single day. And he works all day, all night. You know, we text back and forth, ideas, this, what do you think? And he comes up to my office. There's straight communication. And that's what you want in your quarterback when you're the, you know, play caller. So he's been phenomenal. He just makes my job a lot easier because I want what he wants. You know what I mean? And if there's something that I want, he wants to make sure that he knows what he needs to do. But he's just been awesome. His preparation.
I know you're focused on the offense, but when you look at the game holistically, I mean, how much do you take it upon yourselves to, you know, wanting to maintain possession? I mean, they're a team that, you know, is decidedly more successful when they win the time of possession battle and are able to kind of
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough deal. You know, we have to be efficient on first and second down. You know, we'll take our chances when they're there. But yeah, that's going to be, we got to score touchdowns. When we get down in there, we got to score touchdowns. It might be long drives, it might be quick, you know, it's depending on what they're doing. Like I said, it just depends what they're doing, what we're going to do. I want to convert on third down so we have more downs and then get in the red zone and score like we did last week. I mean, we had a couple of more opportunities last week to have a chance. So we got to make sure we capitalize on those when we do have opportunity.
What do you see the challenges being from their pass rush?
Say again?
The challenges you see from their pass rush and your early thoughts on Mike Green.
Yeah, I mean, they get after it. And they do a really good job scheme-wise, you know, especially on third down. And that's where they want to get you on third down and 7 and 10, where they can do a lot of things. You know, Mike Green, he's solid. So he's a good player. You know, I don't like talking about players that much, but he's a solid player. I mean, Coach Harbaugh, man, those guys, they get players that are smart, just like us. And that's what you see that's what you see. So,
Coach Shaw said,
last two, Justin and Dave.
Coach Shaw says it, you know, takes 4, 5, 6 weeks sometimes to really fully understand what you have. It's only been 2 games, but you know you've been able to experiment and try a few different things with your offensive line. Got the pass protection right this week. How much do you feel like you know about that group, and how much are you still kind of trying to figure out what they do best?
Yeah. It's somewhere in 4 or 5, 6 games where you start feeling, okay, this is kind of what we're good at, this and that. I mean, there's, still a lot of stuff we did in training camp, that I want to get going again. But you start to feel it, okay? And, we want to do what they're good at so they play fast. That's the biggest thing. I keep saying that. I know I sound like a broke record, but that's the smartest thing to do. And then there's going to be 1 or 2 things here and there that we want to be able to try and see if it works.
Is that the type of game where you feel like you maybe laid a foundation for that?
This game or?
The last game, did that kind of lay a foundation for what they do well, getting them playing fast?
Yeah, I think for the most part, there was a few new things that we did. But yeah.
This ties in with that, but take Ratledge. Just where'd you see the most growth from him week 1 to week 2?
I just think the communication. There's still some things that we have to clean up technique-wise, but he was more consistent. All across the board. I think that was the biggest thing. Because we were the run game-wise, we were doing things that there wasn't a lot of communication, and everything was set. It started in practice where we take a period where it's just all runs, and I think that's important. The more you do it, the better these guys are going to understand it.
This ties into what Jen said, but different.